So I know you're all probably counting down the hours till WWDC 18, but sometimes to help get the time to pass by, it helps to talk about something else, something that's not going to be unveiled tomorrow for sure. And given there's some new reports, some new leaks about the schematics of the next generation iPhones, I figured I'd distract all of you with that for a little bit. And don't worry, we'll probably do a last-minute WWDC last-minute predictions video just before the keynote happens. But without further ado, here's some updates on that weird-sounding 6.1-inch LCD iPhone. These leaks once again come from courtesy of our longtime leaker Venya Geskin on Twitter, who's showing off that we have gotten some reported schematics, as in actual 3D models, of what the next generation iPhones are going to look like, specifically with the 6.1-inch version. So you may be shocked to find out that even though this has an LCD display, it kind of looks just like an iPhone 10, which doesn't sound too hard to grasp at first, but then when I thought, wait, if this thing has an LCD display, how can it have the same size bezel all the way around? We've all seen how LCDs work on Android phones, and since LCD displays cannot be curved, you cannot wrap them around the bottom, how can Apple make an iPhone 10 with an LCD display that looks just like the OLED display of a regular iPhone 10 that we thought they needed OLED for because OLED is flexible, you can curve it at the bottom, and that's how the iPhone 10 has the same size bezel all the way around. So what are they doing here? Luckily, Venya Geskin and I discussed this on Twitter because I was thinking, this can't be possible, right? An LCD display has to have a chin. That's why we were seeing these other concepts of what the LCD iPhone could perhaps look like, and we were imagining maybe no notch and maybe a little bit of a chin and making it look a bit more like a Pixel 2, but it is for more budget users. Now, these schematics are saying we're gonna have 3 new iPhone 10 looking phones this year, and even the LCD version is not going to have a chin. It'll just have the same size bezel all the way around. He explained to me that if you really get down to facts, what this 6.1-inch iPhone has is basically the thinnest possible chin you can get with an LCD display, and then making the side bezel and top bezel the exact same width. So while it may not look like it by this picture, if you compare it side to side with what will later be the iPhone 10 Plus this year, you can see that the bezels on the 6.1-inch LCD iPhone, while they are the same all the way around, are a lot thicker than a typical iPhone 10. This is a larger phone, yet the bezels are proportionally retaining their same size as an iPhone 10 would, maybe even a little bit thicker. Which this means, to probably many people's delight, you can still get a phone that does have a notch. I know it's not your favorite, but at least it doesn't have a chin that stands out. Apple's gonna be blending in that chin with the display and not making the bottom bezel awkwardly larger for no reason like many other Android phones always do. Now, in the concepts we're seeing here, we're also noticing the single lens camera on the back, and it's looking a lot like a regular iPhone 8, except with the distinct difference that the microphone and flash are going down the body of the phone instead of to the side. In case you were wondering about that, it's because the Face ID sensors in the 6.1-inch LCD iPhone take up space in that part of the phone, so there's not really room for the cameras and the sensors to go out more horizontally, but there's plenty of room for them to go down vertically. So that's why they moved the dual camera on the iPhone 10 vertical, because it needed to make room for the Face ID sensors, and they're doing the same thing with the 6.1-inch iPhone, even though it's a single lens setup. What these concepts do not bring up, though, is that the 6.1-inch is likely to have a lot more color options that are a bit more vibrant and probably a bit more playful than the premium iPhone 10 and 10 Plus that are not the budget versions, which will likely be getting the standard space gray, silver, and perhaps this year we'll get that blush gold option with the stainless steel bumpers. The 6.1-inch version, however, will be aluminum bumpers and likely a very similar coloring scheme to the iPhone 5C. Bright blue, bright yellow, bright pink, just to appeal to a different demographic, given this is a more budget-friendly model. It is not really going to be a budget phone, if you ask me, even though this will have a much lower pixel per inch. It'll be an LCD display, not an OLED display, meaning the display won't be as vibrant, and the bezels are definitely thicker than a standard 10 or 10 Plus. Still, incorporating Face ID, and rumors are suggesting that even though this is a budget phone, it will still be getting the A12 chip. I imagine this phone will probably be around the $700 price point, and what it's more trying to aim for is people who would normally buy the regular sized iPhone 8, or perhaps the iPhone 8 Plus, but they also want to get the so-called bezel-less design of the iPhone 10 and Face ID, no home button, so they can make their way to gesture control that way when developers are developing apps and Apple's working working on future generations of iOS, they can design all of their apps for one screen. What works on the regular iPhone 10 now will work on this budget phone as well as the 10 Plus, and trying to make all these iPhones have kind of the same proportions even though there's different sizes will be very easier for developers both at Apple and third party. Now, just to make matters a little bit worse, there are even some rumors growing about this bezel-less design of the iPhone SE2 that even has a little bit of a notch at the top. The number of screen protector companies and case maker companies are leaking and showing more and more pictures of what they're being told the iPhone SE2 is going to look like, and Venya Geskin is saying that major case manufacturers are being told these exact proportions as well, which even though we have doubts about it, even though we think it's impossible, there's more and more reports saying that this notched bezel-less iPhone SE design is actually going to happen and possibly could be unveiled at WWDC. Believe me, I've heard the rumors that this won't be a hardware keynote, but at the time of recording this at least, there have still been reports that there are 11 different hardware models that have yet to be released that are going to be shipping with iOS 11, aka before September. And if that's true, I have a hard time believing that at this keynote we're not going to see any hardware, but this video is being recorded a day before the keynote happens. I'm sure it's not going to age well at all. A lot of you guys watching this right now already know what came out, but I can dream, okay? It would be really cool if this iPhone actually came out at the keynote. However, correction for all of you, if this iPhone does end up happening, this is not intended for budget users. I think this is really just supposed to be another premium iPhone just at a smaller screen size. I don't think the intention with a bezel-less SE is to be more budget. This is just for people who like a 4-inch iPhone, but also want the gesture control and the futuristic look. If they are going to make an iPhone for budget users, I imagine it will look identical to the iPhone SE, except it will also have a glass back and a little bit better CPU. That I could see being for budget users. This, however, no. This will likely be anywhere from $600 to $700, and once again would support my idea of this chart of having premium models in several size options and budget models in several size options, while just keeping in mind that the 6.1-inch version is likely to look very similar to an iPhone 10, just with a bit thicker bezels on the side so that the chin is hidden and the display won't be as vibrant because it will be an LCD and there will be less pixels per inch. But I imagine this being very popular for a lot of people who don't like spending $1,000 on iPhones, which is why this year, given the reports and rumors, could be a very crazy year for new iPhones. Potentially 5 coming out. Do I think 5 will come out? Probably not. I'm imagining one of these 5 different iPhones is likely not going to happen, maybe 2, but the leaks and rumors spreading right now are definitely confusing, and I like being able to theorize that maybe all of these are gonna happen. Probably won't, but wouldn't it be crazy if it did, if they had an iPhone for everyone? Let me know what you guys think of these new rumors. Are they true? Are these schematics accurate? In the comments down below. This is your Apple Sheep here, and I will see you in the next one.